Do you want to buy a car, but you are afraid of buying the wrong car from the wrong dealer? Well, worry no more. Welcome to Musso and Hyde Motors and Shipments. We are the #1 and leading car dealer and shipment company in the Gambia. We ship cars from all over Europe to the Gambia, or to the country of your location, at a very reasonable and affordable price. For $140,000 upwards, you will get a very good car with no problems. Plus all the necessary documents including car insurance, plate numbers, and more. We accept installment payments as long as there is a strong agreement that will be respected by all parties. That is, pay a certain amount and complete the rest based on our agreement. If you buy a car from us, and you are still not satisfied with the car, we are always here to renegotiate and come to terms with you. Because your satisfaction as our customer, is our motivation. For any type or brand of car you want, we are your perfect car dealer. We will make sure you get the car of your choice and ship it to your preferred location. For more detailed information, please contact us on WhatsApp, or give us a call on the following numbers.
Hello and welcome. This is the In-Depth Media. My name is Malik Jones, and once again another delight to have with me Samsudin Sar, who I have had on several occasions on this medium. And today we're going to look at the just concluded presidential elections 2021, in which President Adama Barrow won by a resounding victory. First of all, your congratulations to the President.
Thank you very much, man. Thank you very much once again for inviting me. And yes, I am here. I am all yours.
Yes. Now, first of all, let us look at the voting exercise. People came out in numbers, and they exercised their right to vote.
That's correct.
What did you see?
Yes, I think we have proven to the world that Gambia has conducted one of the freest and fairest elections with a level of response that somebody has characterized as the best since 1965 after independence. You know, there was no malpractices, and above all, we had 700 international observers, including 5 former heads of state, who have really vouched their position in admiring these elections and said it was Gambia's model that could be even sold to the international community. So I am even surprised by the number of people who voted, because considering in 2016 we registered, well, we had about 800,000 people registered, but only 500,000 voted. This time I understand 90% of those who were registered voted. It was amazing, it was great.
There were great expectations from the key players vis-a-vis. Barrow was expecting victory. So also was Hussein Dabo of the UDP, and also Mama Kande. These three key players, in their mind, thought that I will win this election.
Yes. Why did you leave, my friend, Esa Fall?
No, Esa knew.
Esa said he was the elephant.
Esa honestly within himself, I'm sure when he goes to bed, will say definitely, I will not make it.
He said he was the
If
huge
elephant.
elephant.
If he has to be honest with himself, what I'm saying you is what he would have said to himself.
That's right.
That yes, this is an attempt, let me see how it pans out. But he knew that he will make it. I said to you some time ago that Esa will not make 20,000 of the votes. He made a mere 17,000 votes. He should be thankful that he even had 17,000 votes. With the arrogance, the wrong messages, and the faults along the way. Do you understand? I mean,
that's correct. Yeah, I mean, like, yes, but you name these three candidates.
Yes, UDP expected because they saw the numbers that came out on their meet rally at Sukuta. They saw the numbers that came out on nomination day. They thought they have the numbers. But
yes, but then again, Malik, I think a lot of our politicians are also misled by these mumbo jumbo marabouts. You know, people who will sit down and tell them, I saw it.
You're bringing it back out.
And I heard about another guy, a Senegalese, who talked about how Mama Kande was going to be president on the 5th. You know, Farafenye, they say three what? Sheikhs. They say they are sheikhs. Sheikh of this, sheikh of that. And they say it's going to. So, you know, that mentality, I think we are so into it that sometimes it misleads our thoughts about what we should do constructively and leave it to some supernatural stuff that don't exist at all. But yes, Barrow thought he was going to win. I knew Barrow was going to win. I told you here that he was going to win.
You did.
I know that Mama Kande wouldn't make it. You know, I'll come to.
You looked at it in his perspective.
Yes, because Mama Kande, comparatively, like I was telling somebody recently, that in 2000, out of 500,000 votes, Mama Kande could get almost 17% of the electorate, you know, which was 87,000.
Especially in North Bank.
Yes.
He did well in North Bank in the 2016 elections.
2016
And of course, a spoiler for Jammeh, by the way.
Big time. But what he did not also understand is that those spoilers, he started losing them when Jammeh started talking on his platform, saying that he was coming literally to come and take over the country after Kande's victory. He wasn't selling the idea of Kande anywhere. It was like, I am coming to do this, I will do that, I will change the country, security will be this, I'm going to change the name of the bridge, as if he was going to take over the country.
Just like that.
Mama should have stopped him the first day he spoke. And I said it, because by saying that, he was literally losing those followers who left this APRC because they had had enough of Jammeh. Now it's like, hey, Jammeh is coming back. So that is why if you look at his numbers, 105,000 compared to what voted, it's about 11.5%. So that's a big lose. He lost a lot. So so I knew from the beginning. Besides, there were so many so-called APRC, no alliance movement, that split from the APRC, that were following him with no voters card, because we had this so-called nonsense person, another Bobo Jumbo Marabu in Casamance called Baitullah, telling them that elections is not even going to take place. On the 4th, Jammeh is going to be flown into the country by Russians. He's going to get Adam Barrow from the country and give him power. So most of them did not even register for vote. I swear, Malik, I'm not making this up. I met a lady who told me the reason why she didn't register is because Baitullah assured them that there isn't going to be any election. 1 week before the election, he was still swearing, and they believe him. So there was a chunk of followers of Mama Kande who didn't have even voters cards. You know, so all they were listening to was the message of Jammeh when he was going to come. In his last rally, Jammeh told them that he was going to come on the 4th. That's all they wanted to hear. So Mama Kande was committing a political suicide, period. And that is why I think he was going to lose. UDP, you know, they had. I don't think Dabo is a bad man. I think he's a great guy. He had probably good intentions, but he wants to satisfy a base that is toxic within his party. These are the guys who are giving the impression that, you know, like nobody else but us, our people.
This is our time.
This is our time.
We will do it by force.
Yeah, going to registration centers, trying to look at who is Gambian or who is not, based on what you speak and your surname was purely tribal. And it scared a lot of people. And a lot of people not voted for Barrow because they wanted Barrow, only Barrow to stay there, but they did not want the UDP to come in. And you had all this odious, there was this audio about this UDP guy, I'm gonna kill Barrow.
Incendiary statements.
Yeah, one Yankuba, Suso, Talkie, we had to pursue him and get him. The latest one is like, we're going to turn Gambia into a Rwanda-like genocidal.
That's the guy from Busumbala.
Yeah. And people like that are all over UDP. And they don't hesitate to say what they do. But for the first time, the party leader came to disassociate himself from this guy. But there was the Suso, they never said anything. There's Bakari Tarawale in America, they never say anything, who said, burn down the houses of the opposition, kill the ministers, kill Ali Mamerjai. And nobody came out and said, don't say, we are the bypass. They say, we are the bypass. I understand. Bamba Mas also is in London. Saying all kind of nonsense. So those are the things that really scare people from the UDP. And I think UDP should look into, rehabilitating the whole, or reorganizing and reorienting.
There is this notion that even UDP militants, the UDP supporters, actually voted against their own party.
That wouldn't surprise me. It wouldn't surprise me. It is very possible. Because, that scary thing about coming to run a government that is purely inclusive, and the majority of people are treated like, aliens, is scary,
I hate to say this, but did Mr. Dabo's posture of not being very well subscribe to people saying, no, that's not the leadership we want? And that is, do we have an ailing, are we going to have an ailing president? Was that a factor?
Absolutely. We hit it right on the, I looked at it, I think both the guy who died just recently in America, the Senator Dole, when he was campaigning against Clinton, I don't know whether you remember that footage where he was shaking hands and he fell down in the crowd, on a stage. McCain, I think, suffered the same thing. It's not a good omen. It's not a good impression of leadership campaigning for power. When Dabo fell, and next thing they saw him in that walker, it turned off a lot of people. That, not only is he alien, but would he be able to really run this country in this kind of condition? So, I think that contributed tremendously in really chasing away those who think, or those who thought he could do it better than, and Barrow was like super vigorous. When I met him at Kalaji, I told him, what's your secret? Your energy is, beyond my expectation. But I understand now he trains, he runs with the Senegalese forces and, some soldiers, walk and so on. And you could see it in his activities. So, yes, you're right. That, I think, really turned off a lot of people, when that happened. And then he was still resisting it, sitting down in his house, being sown, and all those pictures didn't give a good impression of.
I want to draw your attention now to some of the results, which were very decisive, humiliating, a sort of a tsunami sweeping off people who stood against the president.
I like that.
There were instances where, in certain constituencies, where if you add the votes of the UDP, the GDC, Halifa Saleh, GUP, and ESA together, Barrow doubles it.
Oh, really? Yeah, doubles it.
Yes, it doubles those numbers.
Yes.
You see, what was it? What was it all about? Why should that happen?
Yeah, effective, let's put it this way, that was effective campaign.
Machinery.
Yes, because so I remember at some point there was a meeting where they asked, where is Fabakary Tombongara? These guys were like machines that we are not seeing. When Barrow was attracting these huge crowds, they were running the typical APRC mobilization
strategy.
Yes, and went to the grassroots, talked to people who mattered, went to houses, and so on. So all these matter. I don't think UDP and other parties were very good at it. That is why somebody said it. APRC was the decisive force behind any party. That any party APRC supported would have won. And they say, call it what? Kingmakers, or I don't know, kings or the kingmakers. You know, so APRC, and again, when APRC came in, there was a lot of resistance because they knew it was going to be Barrow's helping hand that he was looking for after losing so many of his allies, you know. And what happened? There was resistance even from those who did not identify with any party. Oh no, APRC, why? Jammeh was a monster. They are dealing with Jammeh clandestinely. What do they want? They want to exonerate this criminal, blah, 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 blah. Ironically, when Jammeh came out and said, I'm not interested in this alliance, you know, guess what the language was? Oh, Jammeh is a great guy. You see, he is against these people. These are traitors. They betrayed Jammeh. Suddenly, the monster became a saint. You know, that also show, you know, how unprincipled politicians are, Malik.
You're watching the program Politico. I am Malik Jones on In-Depth Media, and my guest, Samsudin Sar. Samsudin Sar, I covered the elections, albeit on TNT satellite and Facebook Live, and of course on radio as well. And as a matter of fact, when the results started coming, some of my panelists felt that probably the UDP will gallop faster and win more votes when it comes to the powerhouses. We have the powerhouses such as
West Coast.
West Coast.
Yeah.
And in West Coast there was Combo South, there was Busumbala, there was Sani Mentoring, there was Brikama South and Brikama North, as well as Old Yundum. But I said to them, believe in me, when these powerhouses start coming, it will just give me that deja vu feeling of what happened to Jammeh in 2016. Because in 2016, when Ali Momanjai felt that, yeah, the coalition was moving at a pace that was just not very good. Impressive. He brought in the Fonies and tried to balance it.
Yeah.
But then I was, in my mind, I said, when places like the West Coast region start coming in, like the Busumbalas, the Combo North, Combo South, they wasn't divided as it is divided right now. Albeit though, Jammeh won Brikama.
He did.
But then, Busumbala and those other areas like the Sani Mountains and stuff like that were heavyweights. And when those results started coming in, you could see how the Jammeh chair started tumbling, crashing down. And that was just exactly a replica. Here, in places like Congo South, out of 60,000, I mean, President Barrow was doing something like 20,000, 25,000. And the rest was to be shared by this. It was absolutely astronomical.
Yeah, that's very correct. That's true.
This was a tsunami.
Like that. Like that.
That swept off these opposition parties. We have looked at GDC and the United Democratic Party. Your friend, Safar. 17,000
the elephant in the room.
Yes, the elephant in the room. He couldn't break out of that one. With all his might and power and everything, he couldn't. You're surprised with his votes? When you saw that coming?
To be honest with you, I thought he was going to do better in Banjul. And when he lost Banjul, I say, wow, this guy is seriously defeated. And but
if you lose your hometown,
where I did not know that the TRRC was in a barometer to measure his good political popularity. You know, he needed something different, better. But you see, what I what really caught my attention was the argument soon after that. Yeah, the election results. Were they known to the public when the IEC did not finish? Did you hear that? Finish counting. I think that was their first line of argument over, what went wrong in the election. That people started celebrating when the IEC did not finish revealing
the results.
Yes. And somebody uploaded a video, which I was very happy, of Halifa Sallah, done in 2016. In fact, people thought he did it this year, but when I found out,
it was a 2016 video.
2016, where he was clearly saying that, look, we knew about the results well before the IEC finished counting their, compiling their results, because we were our party basis getting the results directly from polling stations, from our representatives there. And that's what happened at the State House. I have written about it, I've talked about it, that by 1 o'clock that night, we knew that we had lost. So to bring that as an argument was trying to throw a low blow, and nobody took it, And then the next thing was, the numbers did not tally. Who said so with these international observers? So I think they were just trying to hold on to something to justify their rejection of the results. But I am yet to see any tangible evidence that is going to be presented to the courts, that the courts will even accept as a case.
Oh, they're still thinking of that?
That's what I heard. No, that's why Dabo is talking about investigating and getting more information. In fact, I got a message 2 days ago that they came up with their numbers that show that Dabo won. But it's not very authentic to me because I've not seen their symbol, nobody signed it or whatever. But what I'm saying is, what kind of judge, not dumb judge, will try to even take a case that is not a case? It will show that judges partisanship, unprofessionalism, and all the 9 years of why that person shouldn't be a judge. So likewise, the Supreme Court, I don't think they're going to take a case that is not even a case. And that is what is happening now. Let them come out and show us what went wrong. You can have 1 or 2 mistakes here and there, but you cannot use a minute fraction of a mistake as the overall mistake of the whole system. No, so this is what I think, people should, it's about time. Mr. Dabo is listening to me here. On this interview, I am appealing to him as a great man to today, or latest tomorrow, call Barrow and say, congratulations, you have won, and we will respect you and be behind you, honor you as one of the greatest politicians who's ever emerged in this country. You made a great difference in changing the dynamics, but don't lose it.
Hussein Dabo and Mama Kandeh are the only two that have not yet congratulated President Adama Barrow.
I don't expect.
Although I saw a false video showing, I don't know, because yesterday I tried to put it across some people close to him. They said, no, that's not true.
That was in 2017.
2017.
Yes, when I saw that video, I found out. Yes. And they said that was in 2017 because there was a project he wanted to launch and went to meet the president to see whether he could help in doing it. And that was the purpose of that visit. But that's politics. People will use whatever ammunition is available to shoot to their target.
Unify this country and to continue the peace process, it is important that these people realize that they have lost the elections, and the best thing for them to do is to call the president and congratulate him.
I expect Dabo to do it. I don't expect Kandeh to do it.
Why Kandeh? Why not Kandeh?
Because what I understand is that Kandeh's how would I put it? Anti-Barrow sentiment is purely personal. That it has been there for so long that even efforts were made by very honorable people, both in the country and outside, to bring them together to form a more formidable force of promoting an agenda that will help the Gambia go through this a long time, but he refused to accept that. So I mean, like, there is no good reason he's giving to the people why he's even not saying congratulating the president, because you got to give him a reason. He is not disputing the results of the election. He is not. But he said he is not going to congratulate him. For what? We don't know.
You're watching the in-depth media and Politico. I am Malik Jones. We'll take a short break. When we come back, we'll look at Halifa Sallah and his performance and what he has said to be his final stance in the politics of this country.
Do you want to buy a car, but you are afraid of buying the wrong car from the wrong dealer? Well, worry no more. Welcome to Musa and Hyde Motors and Shipments. We are the #1 and leading car dealer and shipment company in the Gambia. We ship cars from all over Europe to the Gambia, or to the country of your location, at a very reasonable and affordable price. For $140,000 upwards, you will get a very good car with no problems. Plus all the necessary documents including car insurance, plate numbers, and more. We accept installment payments as long as there is a strong agreement that will be respected by all parties. That is, pay a certain amount and complete the rest based on our agreement. If you buy a car from us, and you are still not satisfied with the car, we are always here to renegotiate and come to terms with you. Because your satisfaction as our customer is our motivation. For any type or brand of car you want, we are your perfect car dealer. We will make sure you get the car of your choice and ship it to your preferred location. For more detailed information, please contact us on WhatsApp, or give us a call on the following numbers.
Samsudin Sar, who has worked vigorously behind and in front of the scenes, trying to make sure that President Adama Barrow wins this election. And let me take you to somebody who has said that he has bowed down and give way to being active in the politics of this country, in contesting elections in this country. Halifa Sallah did not do very well. The PDOIS has never ever, since its formation in 1986 and its participation in elections in this country, they've never done anything above 7% of the electorate. Amazing, isn't it?
Amazing, really.
Maybe the message that they were sending to the people who could not understand that kind of message. And this time round, we saw how dismal their performance has been. But due respect to our dear brother, he's a statesman, he's a Qatar that we all love and respect. He said he's going to step down. And from what I hear, they said after casting his votes and the reporters met him, he actually shed a tear or two.
Oh, really?
Oh, yes, well, that was what I had.
Yeah, okay.
I wasn't there though.
Yeah, I to see that.
All right. His performance, again, dismal. And of course, if he says he's going out, you think he's done the right thing?
I believe so. I think, that's the end of the game for Halifa. Because like you said, his message has never changed since the inception of the Doi party. And, like, even when socialism, that has been the foundation of the philosophy of their doctrine since they brought up this Doi party, changed in the 90s, and they still held on to the same doctrine, which I think should have been revisited and presented in a different package from the UN it used to be. Because they said, if you are that dogmatic, repeating the same thing every day and expecting different results, that's a sign of craziness, So I think they cannot do it anymore. They cannot change their position. That is why they don't want to be involved in any kind of government that comes in place. They were offered, I don't know how true it is, that they were offered positions in the coalition government, but they rejected it because their philosophy of how the country should be run was different from the agenda of the coalition party. So that's it. You know, I don't know what else I can say other than to say, well,
Fare thee well.
fare thee well, great
God go with
job.
you.
Yeah, he'll be remembered in history as perhaps one of the most dynamic politicians who really contributed immensely in what brought Gambia to where it is today.
Let's look at one of the players who came at the bottom, because I also had my own prediction, and my prediction just came right. It was sure, it was just pinpoint right. I said Barrow will top, UDP will be second, Kande will be third, PDIS will be fourth, SL will be fifth, and Ibrahim Jame will be at the bottom of the ladder.
Abdullah Jame, is it Abdullah Jame?
It's Ibrahim Jame, I think. Ibrahim
Ibrahim.
It's Ibrahim Jame.
Huh?
It's Abdullah Jame.
Yes, yes.
All right, Abdullah Jame. All right, and absolutely, Mr. Jame came last. For him, he was a new kid on the block, no experience in politics at all, and did very badly, 1% of the votes. SR 2%. Horrible when you look at the numbers, horrible, absolutely.
Pure miscalculation.
Pure miscalculation. Mr. Jame should have thought something else other than entering the fray. His victory was, his defeat was just, there is no word I can use on why.
Very embarrassing.
Embarrassing.
But you know what?
Humiliation.
But Malik, you know, these are some of the things that sometimes you have these events in life to make yourself, make a name in history. You know, for the rest of Gambia's historical, political evolution, his name will always be remembered with he was once a presidential candidate. You know, people, there are candidates like that who just want to be heard on the platform, and even if they don't make any difference, their name goes into this, and they're going to use it in their resume, and it could help them in many ways, you know, nationally or internationally. When you say, I was a presidential candidate, not too many people will want to know how did you fare well, how did you do in that election.
But once you were a participant, it's enough.
You are a prominent person. You are a respectable person, and you could be entrusted with a lot of responsibilities based on that credential. So just like Esa, you know, he will use this for the rest of his life. I was a presidential candidate. You know, people, you know, go for that in certain, you know. So that's why I think their participation was periodic. Look at I think he's one of the first who congratulated Barrow, and I think he's moved to Barrow's party now.
Okay. Let us move away from the one more thing, and there was a huge lapse between the first two results and when the other results started coming in. Did it in any way bother you at any time? Did it bother you?
I missed that aspect of it because at some point I lost my connection, and
what network were you watching?
No, apparently what happened at some point I even lost electricity in my house.
Okay.
And then, you know, it took time for me to know that it was not Namek but Efis. You know, so before I realized it. So I missed a lot. So when I came back, I saw the defeat already. Somebody posted it, you know, it was, I think, Ibrahim Sankare who sent it to me and said, hey, look at this. You know, because I was watching it at home.
All right,
it was not in the State House.
When I, the UDP SFL Kande meeting rests its argument on the delayance. They said that was one of the reasons why. But again, I called the IEC, I called the communications director, Mr. Khan, and I also called the deputy chairman, Mr. Joe Colley, I'm saying to me, look, Malik, there were problems in 2016. We do not want those problems to come back. We have to give it due diligence.
Yeah.
We have to make sure that we have it right. And in Sukuta, there was voting going up to 10 p.m. at night.
Oh, really?
According to what the IEC told me.
Mm-hmm.
And so, naturally, Malik, you should expect that it will take that time. Due diligence must be followed, blah, blah, blah. Okay. I had some worries though, because when IEC, because I was on television 30 hours hosting election night on Star TV. And I said on my platform that if the IEC should come back, they owe me one, an apology and an explanation.
Yes.
Which unfortunately did not come. And I, in my way, lambasted them for that. It wasn't a gentleman business. All right, this is our country. We are all participating in the process because the media is important. Okay? And I said that, well, they owe us an apology. They're sorry, folks. We were off because of A, B, and C.
Yes.
We are back again and things are normal. All right? Please allow us to... You know what I'm saying? It's just gentlemanly of anybody to just tell us that we've wasted about 6 hours of your time to sit down and wait, okay? It did not happen, but anyway, we'll let them go because afterwards, when the noise was up and running, they came back and tried to give some explanation, but now it's post the election process. Let me now take you to the president will be sworn in next month, January.
January, yes, yes.
Do we expect a cabinet reshuffle before that? He has to make one. Cabinet must be reshuffled. Some ministers must pack their portfolios and go home. Their time is up. I don't want to name names, but some ministers have really underperformed. I am saying that because we are monitoring the sectors. We know what's happening. I don't want to name names, but I have my own list of ministers.
Oh, really?
Oh, yes, I have a list. My own undisclosed list of ministers. And you just say, all right, we really appreciate you telling us to go and sit down.
Yes.
But you expect a cabinet reshuffle?
I don't really. I don't. I think Barrow is still trying to navigate this terrain carefully of this transition to see where he's going to land.
There's no more transition. This is a Barrow government.
Yes, I know, but he's not yet sworn in to officially make him the Barrow government. He's still this so-called...
No, this is gone. He's the president-elect.
I know.
Yes.
He's the president-elect,
So once
but unless perhaps he is sworn in officially,
then he takes the...
Yeah, he still can use this excuse that I am waiting for that day.
All right.
So as much as if he does it, he will be right, and people will feel feel good about it. But it will be funny.
It will be
very sad.
No. It will be controversial though, because he fired Oseno Dabo, he fired OJ, he fired Demba Ali Jallo.
Yes.
In his tenure as a coalition president.
That's
so
correct.
why not now?
Yeah, but then you see, like, we have few more days to go, or a couple of weeks or so, or let's say 3 weeks.
Let's say a month or so. A month?
Yeah.
About a month.
It will be rather brutal to not see these ministers at the ceremony, the swearing-in ceremony.
All right, I see you at the swearing ceremony, and the next week I don't see you anymore.
Yeah.
So that is cosmetic.
Beautiful.
It will be cosmetic.
Yeah,
all right, now let me talk again. What is ailing you now that you think President Barrow should change, and people say he's made some meaningful progress democratically, the rule of law, the security of this country, when we talk about the democratization process, I think the next 5 years we need a new constitution.
He said he's going to make sure it happens.
Yes, that should happen. If he fails that, he has failed me. Because I want to see a new constitution. This constitution must be abrogated. Because he's got the mandate, he's got the power to do that. But before that, before all of that, he needs that edifice before you reach Gambia High School. He needs to control that. And that should be done in April. Though you think, with the momentum right now, that President Adama Barrow will get roughly 75% of that institution.
I am definitely, excuse me, I'm definitely not sure about that.
But the momentum is on.
Yes, it is.
The win, the election, the president's election is decisive.
I know.
So also the National Assembly elections should be decisive. If he wants to do anything, he has to control that house.
I think to be honest with you,
Which is still in the hands of the UDP, by the way.
yes, but they are. If you look at the UDP now, I think you see there's this tendency of understanding the rhythm of politics, and most of those who won as UDP candidates in 2017 National Assembly elections,
I think going under the
they could.
table and go and join Barrow.
They could, but because
Survive.
they were all backed by Barrow, the campaign, the name of Barrow, and he funded them very well. Now, somebody said it. They either shift their loyalty to him right now, because that's all that Barrow wanted from the UDP. Give me the leadership power, and I will keep you with me forever. When they wanted Dabo to take over.
Mark you, the APRC is there.
Yes.
They may also want
Seats.
seats in the National Assembly,
That's correct.
apart from the 5 they've got in the Fonyi.
That's correct.
Good.
And they're going to work out a strategic
Partnership.
that I believe is going to be towards or helping Barrow, but also retaining their face and their structure and their meaning in the country as a party. And but what I am looking at is, I am 100% sure, again, I'm going to say that they are going to do very well in the National Assembly election, because the zeal that really brought about this victory is still in them, and plans are already on the way to start that work. In fact, the work has already started. From what some of them are even looking at the local government elections for mayoral positions and so on. I understand even candidates have already been identified.
So soon.
Yes.
The battle is on.
The battle is on.
And raging.
And raging. And that's like be a step ahead of your enemy. You know, and I think they're gonna do well. I think they're gonna do beautifully well. But again, let's see what's going to happen.
We have security concerns. Will President Barrow address that in his next 5-year tenure?
I believe he will.
What does he have to do?
A lot. A lot.
Give me some examples.
Win the confidence of the Gambia Armed Forces.
He's never visited them.
Yes.
He's never. For 5 years, President Barrow has been sitting out there at State House. He hasn't gone to any of the military barracks to say, guys, how are you doing? What is your problem? But sits down over there as a security sector review.
Security sector
reform, which is broken down. It's never made any headway.
That's correct.
We have to be very fair to ourselves. It's our country.
That's correct.
It has not moved an inch. I don't know who heads that. Baju was there.
Yes.
Cornell was a Cornell. Huh? He's a good friend of mine anyway.
He was a partner in the armed forces. Yeah, and he's a great guy.
He is a great guy,
yes.
but he has been handicapped. He did not move an inch. And I think President Barrow has got to address the security sector reforms. Have to be addressed.
Yes, because they did not prioritize what they should have from the beginning. And the reason for the security sector reform was predicated on a wrong
advice given to the president.
Yes, and the country also is it was a misconception of what prevailed. You know, instead of looking at whether it really was as they thought, They just went into it without looking at what happened. That's why nothing could happen.
Before the breakup between President Adam Obama and Hussein Dabo.
Yes.
That was where that misconception came in.
The misconception was sown in the minds of a lot of Gambians by the dissidents who were so much anti-Gambian.
Okay.
The opposition for so long showed that misconception in the minds. There was a television show in Senegal where Sidat Job said that when you go to the Gambia, 90% of the security forces
are pro-Jame.
No, not only that. They are from Casamance.
Oh my God.
That's
the worst statement in
that at checkpoints, if you spoke English, nobody would understand. Wolof or Mandinka, you only had to speak French or Jola. And a lot of people, at some point in America, I was convinced, Malik, that there were rebels in the army, especially the junglers. They said these were from Casamance. And that they also said the promotions were conducted wrongly. They just choose you according to your tribe, Jola, and give you a general, a colonel, and all that.
Which was not true.
It wasn't true. But that's how they came about with all this security sector reform. So when they came in, I understand at some point, to just make their, to justify it where the philosophy, the belief, they identified about 900 Jolas and went to Paro and asked him to fire them without any cause. And he said, no, I can't do this. So you see, because that did not exist, you know, and they did not know what to, of course, the army was overbloated. It's still overbloated, you know. How do you go about trimming the army, reducing it to a size without people seeing a biased way of doing it? That is what they would have looked into. I have, we have a beautiful blueprint. You see, I have been in the army long enough to see a lot of things that could be done right. You know, including what kind of security sector reform we needed, how to do it. It could have been done in less than 6 months. Trim the army to its size, bring it up, to what you want, give them the orientation it needs, and make them feel that they have a stake in maintaining the peace and stability of the nation. Because if they do, then, nobody will think about coup d'etat. Nobody will think about, trying to be otherwise. Because that's the key area for discipline. So, I don't know. I hope he will do the changes he needs, but the so-called security sector reform package is garbage.
We're talking about a constitution for the Gambia. The 1997 constitution is not a bad constitution at all.
It's not?
I prefer that constitution to the constitution that was just created by the CRC.
That is correct.
Bring in some good draftsmen.
Yes.
Let them have a holistic overview of the constitution. See what is good and what is not good, and you try to take the chaff out of the wheat.
That's correct.
And then present that to the Gambia. I don't know whether they have to make no, they don't need a referendum at all for that.
No.
All right? And then they say, okay, this is what we've come out for.
As a matter of fact, I don't want to, but there was this lawyer called Jay. I don't know whether it's Jay something.
Gay so?
No, not Jay. He said something gay. I don't know. He's a lawyer. He was part of the CRC, the Constitutional Commission. Not Antuman. He was part of this. They say he's from the, he was a lecturer at the university. He was part of the Constitutional Review Commission. I don't know whether I'm calling the right name. But in one of the interviews, he said that he has the copy of the original constitution that was voted for by the Gambians before any amendment was put into it, including term limit and everything. That after they submitted it to Jammeh, that is when he doctored it and put in things, removed certain things and put in certain things. And over time, in 22 years, he also put in certain things to protect himself, and some good things also that are still maintained. They're still in the constitution. Why don't we go and look at that copy? He said he has a copy. That should have been the role of the so-called CRC. Since he said it was a perfect one, look at it, say this can be added, this, let's take it out. It's good. Let's let it retain it. It's bad, out. The most, the most troubling thing was term limit. Put it back in. Term limit, yes. This, that, and that, and that. And then that would have solved the problem of all the CRC touring the whole world.
Devouring $16 million.
Just to produce a constitution that I understand most of it was plagiarized from the Kenyan constitution. That was really not good at all. So, I mean, just like you said, yes, let's take that constitution, let's look at it, and see what was good. It wouldn't need, it's no brainer for people to sit down and work it out and come up with something, or the same thing that we had in 2016, because that was well written and the whole country supported it.
2021 to 2026, President Adama Barrow is on his first term in office.
Yes.
Technically.
Yes.
He will have to take 2026 onwards if at all we can have a constitution that says 2 term limits. Because we cannot count 2016 or 2017 to 2021 and give him part of that. Then we'll be creating some chaos anyway. What else would you want to see President Adama Barrow take care of within this 5-year tenure he's got?
In terms of what the constitution is saying?
No, but we've walked out the constitution.
Yes.
We've talked about the security, but there are other lapses that we didn't have to be addressed.
Yeah, my fundamental concern, Malik, is the security. Security. Because in Maslow's hierarchy of needs, it tells you that, after you are fed, before you even think about shelter, security first. Anything built without a good security is bound to collapse. If they show you images of how beautiful Iraq was, Syria, Libya, but the security brought down all those countries.
Beirut.
Rebels, Beirut. So, security is what matters. And I think it was Dogonyaro of Nigeria who once came to the Gambia a few months before they overthrew Joseph Momo of Sierra Leone and said there are 2 leaders in this country, in this continent, who think security is cheap. And I don't see them staying too long forever. It's Jawara and Momo. 3 months after they overthrew Momo, later on they overthrew Jawara. Security is not cheap. It's expensive, and because you want to make people feel, those who are in the security feel that they have a stake in maintaining the status quo. But marginalizing them to feel that it is some, elite people who are trampling on us every day, the moment the situation ruptures, they will not help but hurt the system.
Is the Senegalese factor helping or spoiling?
In the way the arrangements are going now, it's not helping.
It's not helping.
No. In the way the arrangement is going now,
would you like to see President Adama Barrow address that?
Very much indeed. They've asked him a question like that during the, in fact, opposition party members are seeing that now as the possible Achilles heel of Barrow. That the moment he prematurely or impulsively chased them out of the country, what happened to Jawara during the Confederation will happen to him. He will be, he will be vulnerable to an army that is not yet even programmed to feel that they are part of the system. So somebody asked him, when are you going to, these foreign forces? He said, we are still training. We are still training. For how long? I don't know. And how to justify it again, because given the fact that their presence in this country has never been brought to the National Assembly to look at the terms and conditions. All those things, are situations that have to be addressed, man. We have to do that. So I think there is something that we can do better. Yes, I know something that we can do better to really, make the security stable, reliable, and, sustainable.
Let's touch on civil sector reform. The civil service. That's another area that is so fragmented and so partisan based that you cannot even know who is the one you should trust. Because some of them were put in there by the party that has just failed to grab a seat, to grab the presidency. Is President Barrow aware of that? And if he does, how is he going to solve that?
I mean, that's all right, purely hypothetical, but I hope he is. And if he does, he is looking at the right people, because you have also.
Mark, you have that in the foreign service. The foreign service was highly handpicked.
Yes.
By the other side.
Coalition.
Of course.
Coalition.
Of course.
Yes.
So-called coalition.
Yes, so-called coalition.
Yes.
Yeah. I know that a lot. Yes, I think he should know that. It's very difficult, Malik, to go and tell the president in the foreign service this, that, and that is going on. Him, without giving them good evidence of what is going wrong. You see, at some point I wrote a document arguing about why our representatives in America are not approaching the State Department to stop the people like Tarawale with his incendiary statements against the government, the ministers and everything. America is a friendly government. They could do that. When C.D. Sane started talking about, the election is unfair, this, that, and that, I wrote the same thing, saying that C.D. Sane should be grabbed, or the State Department should warn him to desist from what he is doing, because he's inciting violence in this country while being sheltered there. I think he got the message a few days after he complimented and he endorsed Barrow. But these are the responsibilities of our ambassadors. They should not wait for government to tell them do this or that.
Okay, Sam, have you met the president and congratulated him?
Yes. We went there as a team. When about 2 days ago on Friday, we met him and we congratulated him. He was very happy. As APRC, as a team, I've written, I've spoken in audios and all that. And he really expressed his appreciation of our input in making his success very impressive.
Finally, before I let go of you, we have a new Gambia, progressive Gambia in the making. Would you buy that?
Indeed.
That was my guest, Sam Sar. He was talking to me, Malik Jones, on Politico, on the in-depth media. I'll be running along in 7 days' time. Have a great weekend and bye-bye.
Do you want to buy a car, but you are afraid of buying the wrong car from the wrong dealer? Well, worry no more. Welcome to Musso and Hyde Motors and Shipments. We are the #1 and leading car dealer and shipment company in the Gambia. We ship cars from all over Europe to the Gambia, or to the country of your location, at a very reasonable and affordable price. For $140,000 upwards, you will get a very good car with no problems. Plus all the necessary documents including car insurance, plate numbers, and more. We accept installment payments as long as there is a strong agreement that will be respected by all parties. That is, pay a certain amount and complete the rest based on our agreement. If you buy a car from us, and you are still not satisfied with the car, we are always here to